Good morning. Good morning, everyone that's tuned in today. I'm just getting us going live here on the Instagram as well. So thank you for your patience as I get that set up here. We're going to multi-stream. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Just really want to be able to get as much information out to everybody as possible and answer all the questions that come in. So thank you for tuning in here. I'm sitting in the cafe here. We've had so much growth this summer. It's been an amazing 2025. Looking forward to rolling into 26. I want to hear what you guys have to say about what we're doing out here. Where the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful. Everything that we do here is to make things better consistently, and that's the focus. Bringing in friends, bringing in families, and just making the moto community even stronger. So you probably see me out at the races. I've been doing the Texas Statewide Series. We got Motomania come up this weekend. I've been wanting to get on here and chat with you all. Excuse me. Got something in my throat here for some time. So, I have a long list of things I would like to talk to you guys about. I see somebody here is asking about the Supercross track. Before I tell you what I'm thinking about that Supercross track, Dax, tell me, what are you thinking? Would you come for it? Do you want to train on it? Do you just want to ride on it? And anybody here watching along, it's been a hot topic lately about doing an amateur Supercross track out here. It's something we talked to Clayton and Denny about last year. And I think I even talked to Emil a little bit about this time last year. Do we do it? Do we not do it? And we've really been focusing on what's been working, right? What's been working, because it's been growing. We've been growing our base. We've been doing a lot of training. We've been doing a lot of learn to rides, a lot of bike rentals, a lot of people bringing. So you're doing here, Dax. Tell me where you're from. You'd make the drive to ride it. What would you pay to ride it? How often would you be here? It's got to be financially viable, right? It's really easy to get ahead of ourselves and keep building stuff. We already have a national track. We have a night track. We have a side-by-side track. We have a kids track. We have a GP track. We have 2 turn tracks. We have little trails. Keeping up with it all, it's going well, but it is a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of diesel, a lot of people. So if we do anything, it's got to fund itself, right? Because it doesn't come from nowhere. So we got to have enough interest. We got to have consistent interest, and maybe do some events and some training around it, right? So that's kind of the thinking by Corey, who put the Supercross track idea out there. He's been championing it for some time. He thinks it will bring a lot of people that will come stay here and train. I don't know. You tell me. Would you come stay here and train if we had a Supercross track? And what would be a fair amount to spend? How much could you afford to spend? How much would you be willing to spend to make sure that it's maintained and kept up on, right? So that's definitely a hot topic. So you guys just drop that stuff in here, and we'll keep coming back to that. But there's some specific things that I really wanted to chat with you all about. Primarily, give you guys a quick recap. What's been happening in the last few weeks. So in the middle of August here, my wife, Emily, you probably all have met her. She helps out a lot in the cafe, does a lot. She had to go take care of her father. So while she was gone, we put a lot of energy into improving the cafe, and we took our first steps to getting it done. There's more to come, but I'm going to show you guys, turn this camera around and show you a little bit about what we did do here. We got all this wall sheetrocked. We got shelving on here. We got this sheetrocked. This is not up yet. The TVs aren't up yet, but we got this nice and cleaned up. It's much brighter in here. And we got more changes coming to the cafe that's going to make it easier for y'all to be able to come on, hang out here, make this a good space to use throughout your time here. And also, we're going to do some expansion because we're running out of places for the pro shop. We've got so much inventory. It's just been growing. It's been building. It's been a pretty wild ride, to be honest with you. So that's one of the things we took care of. We also started on the the restrooms. There's going to be a big change in the restrooms, a huge improvement. Guys, you're not going to have to pee into a big trough anymore. We got really nice urinals. We got dividers for the urinals. And we're actually going to be flipping the sides of the restrooms. So the men's room is going to become the women's room, and the women's room is going to become the men's room. And you'll understand why we're doing it this way once it's all finished. But the ladies' room is going to have brand new showers, right? There'll still be 3 showers in there, but brand new. And the walls have been stuccoed, and it's been fun for me to be doing that kind of work. We got new cabinetry coming in, a lot of things to just improve that area and make it more hospitable to all the ladies that come out here, the moto moms, the general population. Because at the end of the day, the way that this sport grows is we have to get new people into it. And new people, they have certain expectations when they go places, right? So, I get a lot of people saying that our bathrooms were the nicest in Texas before we started rebuilding them. And that may or may not be true. They were definitely adequate for a motocross track, but they're not necessarily adequate for every single mom that wants to come out here. And every single person that wants to come out here. We wanted to dress them up quite a bit. And what really drove something home for me is I had an experience where our water pump, our lift pump, our pressure pump went out because it overheated, right? Because we had these 123 days, and on one Friday afternoon it overheated. So that led me to having to use the restrooms in there, because despite the lift pump not working, we couldn't get pressure in all of our bathrooms, but in the main bathrooms, it uses gravity. There was enough pressure for gravity. So I went and used those bathrooms. And while I was in there, I was looking at it and I was just like, this is not to the level of quality that I want it to be. The track has been really great. Logan, Martine, Jay, everybody helping out getting that track prepped has done an amazing job. I just showed you the additions to the cafe. Jay and Casey and Terry did a big majority of that. Things are constantly progressing here. But I'm in the shower and I'm looking around and they're being kept cleaner than ever. We have big events and sometimes we get a little behind because there's so much to be done, especially when you have that many people. But week to week, day to day, like for the first time in my life, I actually started using those bathrooms and not like being like, I'm just going to wait till I go home, because we finally got to a place where I think they were adequately and even well kept. But here I am taking a shower and I'm looking around and I'm like, we really need to do something. We did another coat of paint. It just didn't look right. And while I'm in there showering, I hear 2 kids walk in and I hear, ew. And then I hear their dad, oh, this is gross. Right. And I was just like, oh, man. Right. Like that's the last thing I want to hear. Right. I mean, I want to hear the truth. Right. But I want the truth to be something that it isn't. But I was already hearing questioning it. And I've heard so many people compliment us. But now I'm here in the real life moment, questioning myself, and then hearing these 3, there was actually 3 people that were not excited to be taking showers in our bathrooms. And they weren't in the pristine, clean position. It was right before they got cleaned. So I had a whole week of dust and dead bugs and spiders growing before they got cleaned. But it was like right what I was thinking. So in that moment, I was like, we've got to do something better with this. So we put action in place to be able to really improve these. You guys are going to see it. I'm hoping we get enough done this week where they're flipped for this weekend. There'll be a lot of signage if they are flipped. It's not going to be completely done. We're still waiting on some cabinetry to come in. But for the most part, we're like probably about 60% of the way there. But by the end of the week, I think we should be more like 90% as long as things go smooth, and then following will make them better. So that's something we've been working on out here. We've also been doing a lot of training for our team because we had a huge race. And thank you. If you came out for the Texas Statewide Series, thank you so much for coming out. Really appreciate you guys being part of what we did there. For the most part, the event went really well. I got to race it. I had a lot of fun myself. I didn't have my best riding. I had a crash earlier in the week, but the track was really good. It held up really good. But we had a few misses. We had a few misses when we got practice off on time, and then riders meeting, there was a little confusion about where it was, and mic wasn't on, and riders meeting started. Nobody even knew we were halfway through the riders meeting before it was realized that the mic wasn't even on. There was a little bit of issues in staging for the first 2-3 motos, so kind of put us behind about 15-20 minutes. Then we had more classes than we had hoped. We hoped to combine more classes, but unfortunately or fortunately, we had some people that were just riding in conflicting classes, so we couldn't shorten up to the 25 classes that everybody else was able to up until that point, and it was at 30 classes. On top of that, excuse me. On top of that, the track was a lot longer lap times than we anticipated. So we were trying to figure out a place to cut out some time, right? Because most of the tracks were 3 Palms. I was running 138s to 142s. Murphy's last week, I was running about the same. And then we had Underground last weekend, which was, I think they were probably around 220s for 215s, 210s, something like that. For me, I didn't have a lap timer on, and I didn't get my full racing. I had another crash in the start and my second race of the day. So not exactly sure where I ended up, but that's a shootout. That should be longer. It really was working in our blueprint. We had a target lap time of 2 minutes. So that's what I was gunning for. We actually had Vernon McKitty come down, work with Logan and Martine. We got a bunch of new dirt on the track. We built everything up. We cut out one section to shorten up the lap times. But come race day, the track got rough enough that, we were shooting for the 2-minute mark, and that's where we were in testing. But there was a lot of people running like over 230s. And when you have 4 laps at 230 instead of 140, and more races than you want, the race just drug out for people, and it ran us late in the day, and we ended up having to cut laps, which is the last thing we want to do. People still got track time in that first moto. They got extra track time in the first moto, and they got probably about the same amount of track time, maybe a little bit less, depending on where you fell in the day, because it was down to 3 laps, and then it was down to 2 laps, which we really don't want to do. But 2 laps was still 6-minute race, right? So if you have 4-lap race and you're running 130s, that's also 6 minutes. So it was kind of still the same lap or the time on the track, but the number of laps was fewer. And I know that was really disheartening for some people out here. And we don't ever want to cut those laps. So in the future, we're gonna have to make the track shorter, because at the end of the day, unless we can run fewer classes, or you guys can run faster lap times, we have to shorten the track up. And we did not want to delete any part of the track. It's like any part that we could have deleted, it's just so fun. And that I got that feedback from several people. It's not just me saying it. Like, we could have deleted out the whole uphill triple to the flagpole and the loop around there, or we could have deleted another section of that where you went up that, but then went straight down the hill and made a left, and delete out the section that leads to the road. We could have deleted out one of the catcher's mitt, or we could have deleted out jump number 8, right? And the jumps before that. We could have deleted out the first catcher's mitt after number 1. But like, do you guys want that stuff deleted out? Would you rather have longer lap times and fewer laps, or would you rather have more laps and more track time? How would you want to see that, right? I don't know. Like, I don't know what the right answer is. Obviously there was a couple of minor things that we could have done and probably saved an hour if we dropped gates a little bit faster than we did. And we didn't have any medical delays. There's a couple of things we learned about what we can do with the watering, and where we can communicate with our ref to actually get water trucks onto the track a little bit faster in intermission. But we're talking, for the most part, saving 30 seconds here and there, and maybe 5-10 minutes at intermission, right? So We had 2 operators running water trucks and equipment. We could have put a third one out there, but they didn't need one at intermission. But we had them on standby. We definitely could have watered the pits a little bit more. So we had a lot of learnings from the event. And despite all that stuff, for the most part, 99% of people, literally 99% of people, we had, over 400 race entries, almost close to 500. I think it was 456, 466. And we had basically 4 people that were negative. And I will say those 4 people were negative throughout the day. They were, before any issues came up, that was just kind of they were even negative the day before, and not just about Cycle Ranch, but their other things in their lives. So I don't take it personally. Like I take it as we're going to always do better. We're always going to learn. We're always going to improve. There's always going to be something that we've missed, or some way that we can make this better. So I appreciate any kind of feedback for it, but just yelling at my stagers, yelling at the person watering the track, yelling at our scoring team, our registration team, it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for this kind of business. This is a really hard job to get people to even, 1, want to do it, 2, to people do it for what we can pay them to do it, and 3, to deal with people that are going to be treating them disrespectfully. So there is a section in the AMA rulebook, because this is a common thing. This is not a Cycle Ranch thing, that actually bars people from the AMA for this kind of behavior, disrespectful behavior. So we're going to be really enforcing that come forward, because our number 1 value out here is honor. And if you're yelling at people, that's pretty dishonorable. If you're making up stories and telling lies, which happened, that's also dishonorable. Number 2 is respect. So our number 2 value out here is respect, right? We treat each other with respect. We treat our customers with respect. But if our customer comes in and starts cursing and yelling at us rather than investigating what's happening, that's pretty disrespectful. It disturbs the peace of the other customers out here. We're zero tolerance policy on this, right? Our next value is fun, right? So if you have honor and you have respect, then it's time to have fun. We got those 2 I's dotted, T's crossed. Honor, respect, it's time to have fun. And then how do we have fun? Well, we do it together. That's our 4th. And then we have 5th, growth mindset. And that's part of what I'm discussing here, is our shortcomings, where we can improve. And number 6 is discipline, right? So making sure that we have the protocol in place, so that even when the motivation is not there, the discipline is there, right? So that's our overarching culture and our values. We've got deeper values than that, but those are the main ones that stand out. They're hierarchical. If you're not honorable, you can't be respectful, right? And most of the time, it's people that don't respect themselves that are disrespectful to others. People that don't honor themselves are dishonorable to others. So part of what we are doing here is not just racing motocross, but we are raising the community, we're raising families, we are working with people consistently, in every way possible. Well, I want to see if you're a businessman, I want to see your business thrive. If you are a personal trainer, I want to send customers to you. If you do advertising, I want to help you with your advertising. If you're a dance instructor, I want to learn about what you do as a dance instructor. And we have all these types of people out here. We have lots of business owners. We have lots of entrepreneurs. We have lots of employees. We have lots of people just doing whatever they can to make it. We want to support you holistically, right? That's why our cafe has food that's high quality food. We want to see your diet thrive and your nutrition thrive. We want to see that you have parts here and you can get the top of the line parts, protective gear, whatever, while you're here at the track, right? So we try to carry the nicest of whatever we can get to make sure that you're always taken care of. And we try to, be that top notch. And that's important to us. I know it might not be important to everyone, but to us, we want you to know when you come to Cycle Ranch, like you're going to get through the weekend, you're going to be able to ride, you're going to have a good track, you're going to feel like family out here, and or better than family. So sometimes family's a little shaky sometimes, but we will always treat you honorably, respectfully. We're here to have fun. We're here to do it together. We're here to grow, and we got the discipline around it to do it. So if you step out of those boundaries, then then this is probably not the place for you to come to. There's probably another place where you can go and yell at people and treat them poorly. And there's another place you can go where you can rant on Facebook when you have my cell phone number. If you're ranting on Facebook, when you have my cell phone number, and you can actually just call me and tell me, hey, guy, I really see you change this, or message us, direct message us. Like that's the forum for it. This conversation here is a forum for it, right? I'm broadcasting on Facebook and Instagram, so I'm going to go back and look at the Instagram comments, but this is a forum for it. I'm opening up. Hey, criticize what we've done, and we will address it. I don't have all the answers. I might have some of them, and we will be able to figure it out together how we can do everything better. So the Texas statewide series, that race by far and large was a really good event. It was our largest single day event since we've opened, right? So the only thing that's been close to it in race entries was our winter series, our AMA qualifier. Both were 2-day events. They both went off without a hitch. They went really well. We're back in the winter series. We're ready in talks with the AMA about Loretta's qualifiers. We should have a qualifier. We might have a regional. I know there was somebody that actually literally said they pray that we don't get a regional. And that's not praying for me. Or Cycle Ranch. That's cursing. That's cursing us. And it's just doesn't need to happen. It's low vibe. And if that's your attitude, please, I ask, do not come back here. Like, that's going to bring everybody out here down. We are here to lift each other up, right? So Texas statewide series, though, great event for us. We were profitable for that event. That money is being dumped right back into the facility. We're making lots of improvements. We got new tires for the loader, got a new tire for one water truck, a new clutch for one of the water trucks. We got this wall that I showed you guys a little bit earlier in the video that we put up here. We got the restrooms we're improving. We make the dollar go a long distance. It wasn't like we were left with this boatload of cash where we could buy even a boat. Well, not a nice new one, certainly maybe a rowboat or something, right? But it wasn't like big money, but we're stretching it. We're working hard to make this place better, and continuously improving it for you guys. So the statewide series was a great success for our racers. For me as a racer, it was a great event, a lot of fun. As a track owner, I had a great time, and as your friend, an amazing time. Just getting to hang out with a lot of you and having free time to do that. And that was generally the feedback that we got for that event, just enormous, right? So I also went on to race over at Murphy's, and somehow after Murphy's ended up with points lead in plus 40A and in Open Pro Sport. Like, so I'm a racer, guys. I am doing this stuff with you, right? I'm absolutely doing all of this stuff with you guys, right? So I know what it's like to go stand in line to register for an event. I know what it's like to be misscored. I know what it's like to be put in the wrong class. I know what it's like to have my bike break down. Literally, at the race here, I had my sprocket, actually my hub blew up. Unfortunately, at the end of the race, and right as I passed the checkered flag, it blew up, and I was able to push my bike off the track. But last weekend at Underground, in the whole shot between the second and third corner, somebody went down in front of me. I clipped their bike. I flipped over. I got ran into, and my bike was trash. I went all the way up to Underground and got to race one moto, and got to go home with a broken bike and a lot of bruises and a nice concussion. So, I know what it's like to be on your side of it. And I spent a lot of money to go up there. So I know what it's like, man, probably spent $1,100 to go racing last weekend, $1,200. And now I came back and I get to buy a new helmet and probably $300 to $500 worth of parts, right? So I know what it's like to be on your side of the table. So it's important for me to do this and go travel and have this experience. Do you want to come on the live, baby? Okay. Emily just walked in. So I want you guys to know that I do have your best interests in mind, and I try to see the facility through your eyes, and not just have like some top-down approach, right? So one of the other things that we had out here for the statewide was we had online only registration. And I heard about after the event, there was a handful of people that didn't want to come because of that. So I'm going to tell you our thinking with that. And I mean, you tell me if it's really that important that we got to do it day of, because you guys can contact us prior to the event and request a refund if you do it online. It's just a matter of going on the computer and doing it. So one, it makes the race order much easier to make. We can have makes the staff easier to do. We can staff the event so much more simply because we know how many of you guys are going to come. And then when we have the race order out in advance, if we had you guys all registered Saturday night, we'd have you actually have the race order for you Saturday night, right? So you'd know what race you were going to be when you got here on Sunday morning, or at least when you woke up on Sunday morning. Another thing that it does is it eliminates errors from our team reading handwriting on these forms and putting you in the wrong classes or giving the wrong race number and all that stuff, right? The mornings of these races are so busy and everything is so crammed. So the more information we have beforehand, the more we can make it an easier process for you guys, right? So we actually had a situation on Saturday where one of the racers' dad signed somebody up in the wrong class. And they actually got double booked in a class, and there were age classes, so we could tell that they couldn't be in both of those classes. So our team recognized it. They were able to reach out to them and get them into the right spot before the next day, instead of the person showing up at the gate in the wrong class or racing the wrong class with the wrong age group, which is also a liability by our insurance and by AMA and so forth. So because we had the pre-registration done, even though they did an error, we were able to catch it in advance. If that happens on race day morning, we don't have the time. So we can't necessarily fix it. So we really need you guys to use the online registration or be able to write neatly. Like we could go back and start doing the paper entries. It's just going to take longer to get the race entry or race order to you guys. Less time to actually make the classes and put the race order together with the separate gate or together gate drops and so forth. So it just puts a lot of stress on the team on Sunday morning if you guys wait to register, right? That's just the reality. If you look at any professional sport out there, they have pre-registration. Marathons have pre-registration. All these events have pre-registration. You don't do it the day of on professional sports or even most amateur sports. So that just helps us a lot if we do that. And we just have a question coming through about if we have flaggers or people can come be a flagger. Yes, there is. You can come be a flagger. We are always looking for more flaggers. We have a pretty big crew of them right now, but there's always days where there's overlaps, and we cannot get that, get them filled or get as many people in there as possible. So I'm going to put an employment application. We're hiring for a couple positions, right? So we have an employment application that you guys do. And the funny thing is you'll see in there, the values I talked about earlier are actually in our job application, right? Like I don't even want somebody to come work here if they can't agree to those values. So Terry Kinsey says, the pre-registration is, we have Jay Cuthridge, 913, asked about the flaggers. So Jay Cuthridge, I'm just dropping a link in there for you right now to be able to use. And then, we even have Terry saying pre-registration is so much easier and more efficient, right? So that makes a big difference. Another thing that we're going to do, so another learning that we had on the race day was that people were not checking their race results for Moto 1, right? So we didn't have them printed out and posted immediately. It did happen eventually. It didn't happen right away. But nobody came and requested for those race results, right? They were online. And they should have been printed out. They will be printed out in the future consistently. It just took a while to get them out of the computer. And that was miscommunication between our scorer and somebody else on the blueprint, right? So they just misunderstood something. It was an honest mistake. Everything was online. You could read it. They didn't realize that it needed to be printed out. And then once they realized, it started happening. But what we're going to do, at least on all the national track races, and we might even set it up for this weekend's Motomania, is we are going to set up a GoPro or some kind of camera and live stream the finish line. We're going to live stream the finish line, and the scorekeepers are going to be able to watch the finish line as the bikes come across, and then they're going to be able to look over at a TV, and there's a delay between when you see it on YouTube and when you see it with your eyes. Like when you see it with your eyes, and then YouTube will have it streaming right behind it. So they're going to be able to now watch it. Now, the other advantage of this is you're going to be able to go back and watch the finish, right? So if you have a protest of the finish, no, I passed that person, you're going to be able to go pull the clip and see that. And then the other is, of course, your family members at home. They might not be able to see your whole race, but this will at least be a start for them to be able to watch the finish line live. And it may not be in the first iteration, but at some point by the USA Championships, we will have a camera set up. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen this weekend. It might happen for the next Motomania. But we'll have all the announcer coming through on that live stream as well. So we'll see how it works this time, because it's going to be near a speaker. But the GoPro, the camera that we have that we're using right now, is a 360 Max, and it doesn't have an audio input jack. So we can't just directly wire it to our microphones. So it's going to pick up some outside noise, some wind, all that stuff, but it'll be near a speaker where they'll get results. And you'll be able to watch that finish line from our live feed. So that's going to give another opportunity for you guys that don't make it out here to be able to watch something that's going on out here, or share it with your families. Another way for our scorers to be able to review who came across the line in what order, because quite frankly, 50cc bikes should not have 3-digit numbers. They're like 3 or 4 inches big, and it's hard to see. It is really hard to see. I don't know if any of you guys have scored before, but if you have, you will attest watching those 50cc's with 3-digit numbers is a big challenge, right? So we moved our scores down to the finish line for those events, from the scoring tower so they could see it. But then they had parents yelling at them for whatever reason, rather than letting them do their job. And then it made it harder for them to score, right? So that's why we have to like isolate people. It's weird when it's always the same 4 people. So, you know, those 4 people have had a talking to, or they haven't, they will have some kind of conversation about behavior. But the most of you guys have been so awesome and so supportive. So those are some of the other learnings that we had and implementations that we're going to do for future races to make things better. And if you have suggestions, let me know. We're totally down for those suggestions. So I want to talk about what's to come out here, but first I'm going to go through the comments on Instagram, because I haven't looked at that in a moment, right? I got Facebook scrolling through, and YouTube comments come through to me through the software that I'm using, but Instagram does not. So let me kind of just roll through. I got Jason telling me individuals focus on the negatives. There are absolutely 100 more things you all do great. We're lucky to have CR in the culture as a reflection of your leadership. Thank you, Jason. Thank you very much. I know that. I know that. I feel that. I know that not only me, but my whole entire team here pours their heart in making this an amazing experience for all of you. And there are some people, if it's a 1% thing, that are just going to be negative. I can accept it. Like 1% of the population negative is not a bad number, right? But at the same time, what I've seen is generationally, these same people that are problems now, they were problems as kids. So the dads that are problems now were issues as children. And then I also see that we have people that met out here, got married, and have children, right? So I know that your child might date one of the other children out here. So if they might end up having a family one day. And I want that. But I also want them to be like well-rounded, kind individuals. So if we have to say no more, we can say no more. Like I didn't move and come back from Costa Rica to be at Cycle Ranch so that I could have people yelling and screaming at me or about me or about my staff. Like, I know it's going to happen, but that's just them showing, hey, they haven't really thought things through. They might not have the emotional maturity. They're usually, I'm feeling bad for their kid because their kid's probably getting it on the way home. And we don't need that. Like, we can create a little bubble here at Cycle Ranch. And it's not that people aren't going to lose their mind sometimes, right? I get it. If you watch the last video that we made, the YouTube video, we had one of the fathers yelling at a kid that collided with his daughter, and he was really frustrated. He got a little hot-headed, but you know what happened? He immediately went over, as soon as he found out what happened, he went and apologized for doing what he did. He even came up to me and apologized to me for what he did, because he realized, oh man, I just lost my temper, man. I haven't done that in ages. I don't even remember the last time that happened, but it happens to anyone. It can happen to anyone. Like, I get it. But if it's a consistent pattern with somebody and they're not even willing to take any responsibility, we don't need their money. Like, I'm not doing this for money. If I was doing this for money, I would be doing the wrong thing for money. There's a lot of things I can do that make a lot more money and they're a lot easier. So just to touch on that. So, and Jacob here at Austin says he loves how taking in feedback and changing the track for the better. When I went there, qualifier, it was just one of the most fun races out there. Awesome, Jacob. I'm really glad to hear that. Hona says CR is the best. Respect everything being said. Thank you, Hona. I really appreciate it. Jacob said if you live closer, be there every weekend, especially if there was a Supercross track. Back on that topic. Jason talked about QR codes around for people to make suggestions. That's a good idea. We actually did an outreach, and we have a customer survey that we were doing, and we had somebody actually calling everybody through, and we have like 4,000 people in our database. I think we got through about 300 of them, and it was super helpful. So Jason, I'm going to see if we can set up that survey for people to be able to write their own thing, because we can put that in our stories and everything else on social and really get consistent feedback. So quote here by Jason. And I'm going to read this to you guys, because these are gems, and this is really important that you guys hear. I want to hear what you guys have to say, and I want you to hear me read it and respond to it, so you know what my authentic reaction is. So quote he likes is, I may not know the recipe for success. The recipe for failure starts by trying to please everyone. Sometimes people's expectations are really unrealistic. So, and he says, you all do an amazing job. And 100%, I'm not here to please everybody. Like, those people that are unpleasable, like, just, they don't have to be here. That's just a reality. And Jacob, yes, Cycle Ranch is in the winter series. It is the weekend of January 23rd and 24th, I believe, or 24th and 25th. And Russell 914 says he's going regardless if we have a Supercross track or not. Thank you. Christy Duro, oh my gosh, I haven't heard from you in forever. I've been seeing you on Facebook saying some of our best memories here at CR. So cool. Those are the incoming messages on Instagram, and then I got a little bit more to share with you guys. So we got a new playground. Yep, we got a new playground. We got to get it together. I don't know if we'll have it together this weekend, but big thanks to David Rivera. He's been out here with equipment for us to use. He gave us an excavator to actually, a mid-size excavator to clear out our catch ponds, allowing us to get more dirt out here. He had a skid steer out for a bit, helping clean up the sides of the jumps. He's going to be helping us expand one of our buildings. All around amazing dude. And then he had this playground. He's like, my kids never use it at the house, so do you want to have it at Cycle Ranch? So we got it here. Hopefully we'll get that together. Maybe we'll get it together by this weekend. It'd be really nice to get it by this weekend. We definitely need some AstroTurf to put down underneath it. But the playground that's down by the restrooms, that's going to come down. It's I think it's like 14 years old. And that last race event, some of the kids that were here, probably the ones that get yelled at by their dads, who we get yelled at by their dads. I'm pretty confident actually it was the same ones, based on what my son had told me. they started kicking out the wood, broke a door, broke a window, and now it's super rickety. So we could try to fix it, but I think at this point that one's pretty far gone. We're gonna probably pull that one down and put up this new one. So we've already have the jungle gym. So this new playground, I think, will be a huge improvement. Big thanks to David Rivera. Really appreciate it. So that's one of the improvements you're going to be seeing coming here. In addition to the cafe improvements, the pro shop improvements, the restroom improvements, and equipment, we've got a lot of that stuff done, and we got more stuff on the table to get done. I want to give a big thanks to the team at Murphy's. Everybody that came out, guys. I'm pretty sure you guys can see this. This guy, Weston Pike, is calling me right now. I don't know if you know Weston, but he's coming out. He's coming out with Damon Bradshaw. So I was hoping to get him on the live today, but he's calling back. I called him earlier, but he's a couple hours behind. So I'll give him a shout after we're done with this. But he's coming out with Damon Bradshaw for Fly Ride Day. I'm just going to throw that in there right now. That is on the 18th and 19th, or 17th and 18th and 19th. And on the Friday before, him and Damon are going to do training. So you guys can get here and do a training day with two legends. And Corey and Manny are going to help out with that as well. I think Casey will. I'll probably be involved in that some way too. So we're going to have a huge team out here on I guess that's the 17th of October with Weston and Damon doing training. And then Saturday, Sunday, they're going to be out riding, probably racing Motomania that Saturday night. We'll see if we can get them to drop some gates with us. It'd be really neat to do. But back to Murphy's. I raced Murphy's not last weekend, not this past weekend, the weekend before. First time racing there. I went there to ride the Saturday before the first time I rode there, and I'd only been there one time, actually exactly a year ago from the weekend before last. And I went, and I didn't even have a bike. I was just walking around and just checking the place out. I'd sprained my ankle, so just there checking it out. But I had a blast. Their team did a great job. The registration ran smooth. The scoring went well. Linda Teal and her team, amazing job. The stagers, the starters, it was a lot of the Three Palms and Freestone crew there. They know what they're doing. I was taking notes on how they were doing things. It was really an awesome event. I feel grateful to get to finally get up to that track. I've heard so much about Murphy's in the last 10 years. And I definitely see the appeal and what people like about that place. If you haven't been there, I definitely recommend go check it out. I think for your average weekend rider, it's a lot less intimidating than Cycle Ranch. It's a lot less intimidating than Cycle Ranch's national track. But it's super fun. It's super fun. It has great outside lines. They get some good ruts developing the inside. They had a cool roller section right after the finish line for the race, which was really technical and tricky to do. I had a lot of fun, and I didn't even win. I didn't win in any of my classes. I rode 250, probably not the smartest thing to do. Didn't help me on my starts, but I took home a second in Open Pro Sport and a third in 440 plus A. But man, it was a blast, and they did a great job running it. Got out of there a reasonable hour, and Christy was just super friendly and sweet. So if you haven't checked out Murphy's, go do it. Last weekend I went to Underground. I mentioned this earlier. I think it was 786 entries, 788, almost 800 race entries across 2 days. And they had a medical hold, and they had a couple of things to overcome, and they did such an amazing job. Shan was out there announcing, keeping everybody know what's going on. Also, David Wills was at Murphy's, did a great job keeping people up to speed what was going on. But Underground was running great. The track was really good. It was not prepped as deep as the regional. Thank you, Steve, for that. Still ended up, going down pretty bad. So I didn't get to race my second motos or even finish my first 40 plus moto. I got a 6th in the Open Pro Sport. The track is gnarly. It's difficult. It's like the opposite of Murphy's. Like Murphy's is like, if you can ride a dirt bike, you can ride Murphy's. And as you get faster, there's not as much separating you. So it really kind of evens the field out quite a bit. Whereas underground, like by lap 3, I'm laboring and I get to ride a lot. It's just like you jump into the face of things. There's big jumps. It's like you can over jump things, you can under jump things. Sometimes you're landing in a rut. Sometimes you're landing in some mush. Sometimes you're landing in the face of a jump. And other times you can get a rhythm going, but you got to be pretty fast to get a rhythm going. It is definitely one of the more challenging racetracks that I've ever ridden, even though it's got sections that are easy peasy. It gets great ruts in the corners. They have some cool berms, super steep jump faces that just kind of shoot you to the sky. It'll make you a better rider. It'll make you smarter. It'll make you stronger. It will help you in every way. Great experience. They ran like clockwork. Their staging and their gate dropping team was so on point. It's funny. They were executing everything that we talk about in our meetings, the way that we talk about in our meetings here at Cycle Ranch. They were executing it like perfectly. The presence, the attitude, the riders listened to them. Whereas here we don't necessarily have that because we have newer staff. They're not as stringent, but like literally somebody had walked up, cutting the line to pick a gate, and the guy dropping the gates. It's like, where's your bike? He's like, oh, it's back there. Oh, so you didn't get a pin? You shouldn't even be up here. He's like, no. He's like, get out of here, right? I think my team is a little bit more forgiving than that. So we're going to tighten the bolts up. We're gonna operate as well as they did, and we're going to still maintain the whole fun aspect of all of this. But we're going to make sure that we are really tightening down on the rules and making sure people are following those, because that's what we need to do if we want to have a regional out here. That's what we need to do if we want to grow this sport. And we're able to do it. We just probably been a little bit more lenient than we need to with those few people. And we want you guys to all have a good time. So we don't want to be like, we're not going to be yelling at anybody, right? That's not the plan. We don't want to be yelled at. We're not going to yell at you. An honor value, the value of honor, includes the golden rule. So we're going to treat you how we want to be treated, but we're also going to, be very clear about what the rules are. And we might have more signage that we don't even have to say anything. We just point that. See that sign right there? One rider, one mechanic. Yep, that's that. Oh, see that sign right there? Yeah, you got 30 minutes to protest. You can't come after second moto and finals are there and you didn't check on your first moto results. You can't come yell at me, right? So we're doing a lot of things to implement that, but these guys had it down so well at Underground. So it was a great experience for me to get to feel it firsthand as a rider. And I really appreciated it, because I've watched so many times where I've had a gate pick in front of somebody, and like I'm just going out to have fun. I'm not like taking it too seriously. So somebody jumps in front of me, like, and that's on them. That's on their karma. I'm like pretty low drama person. But it's also like, really, you think you can go in front of the gate and pack it down that rut? Like, and then if the stager doesn't say something, or the gate drop person doesn't say something, the person, like, technically they're disqualified. You can't do that at a pro national event. So we've got to run this like we're getting ready for the pros. If we want to have a pro national, we got to get this ready for amateur nationals, right? So we got to act as if and show up the way that we need to show up. And fortunately, Mike Burkeen at the AMA, Director of Motocross, him and I talk on the regular, and he gives me what the parameters are. And I'll tell you, Underground, the people at Underground, they got it down pat. And that's a lot of the team from Freestone. So a big shout out to Courtney and Clayton at Freestone, because they helped make that event successful. They actually were first on the scene on my crash. Clayton actually got my sprocket straightened and my disc straightened enough to be able to bring my bike back to me, and while Courtney drove me back to the trailer, so I could figure out what was going to happen next. But after seeing my helmet, it was pretty apparent that I got a pretty good concussion and wasn't going to be doing the next motos. So big thanks to them. Really cool to see, like, Steve and Allison, Clayton and Courtney, Emil and Wendy. Like, these guys, they're just showing up. They're all showing up together for the betterment of motocross in Texas. And I love that I get to be part of that as a racer. So I know what you guys are going through. As a track owner, so I can really know what they're going through. As a race promoter, where I can work and lean into those guys. It's a real blessing. I feel really fortunate that I get to do this from multiple aspects. So great time racing at Underground, even though it was short-lived. You guys, if you didn't go, you missed out on a really awesome weekend. Great job at Murphy's. Highly recommend you check out both facilities. Let me check on any comments that came in on Instagram. Again, you guys, if you have anything to say, please drop it in. Big thanks to all the team out here at Cycle Ranch. We got Paul doing the bike prep on the rentals. We got Jay just crushing it on helping the grounds, improving things. Martine, oh my gosh, if you guys know what Martine's gone through to get our PA system really functioning well. He loves it. He's doing a great job with that. Corey and Manny on the training side, just killing it. Casey has been out here. He helps with training. He helps with customers. He helps him and his wife helping with making these improvements. They know what they're doing, and they have all the tools for all kinds of construction. So if you guys ever need construction work, don't steal them from me. But if you need a deck built, they built the deck that I have out here. If you need sheetrock put up, they got that down. They do all kinds of improvements across the board and really make things just top notch. And you'll see that with limited budget too, might I add. Their pricing is very fair. So big thanks to them. Elaine, you've probably seen Elaine at the front gate. She's the glue that holds us together, runs our operations, the back end, the race registration, all of that stuff. Schedules the staffing. Logan and Martine on the equipment. Like, everybody is just contributing. My wife, like, she's just doing so much, like, whether it's the cafe or it's the kids camps or it's the programming or the extracurricular activities or the RV camps. You might even be hearing from her about the training we're doing, Weston and Damon. So, I don't see any comments in here, so I'm going to just assume that you guys aren't typing anything, even though it does look like the Instagram is freezing a little bit. So don't know exactly what's going on there. But any comments, drop them in right now. JC the Ridge, JC Etheridge. That's probably a JC. Actually on the Pike and Bradshaw ride days on Sunday, we'll have Hondas out here. We'll have Hondas for demo from I-35 North. Jason Johnson's going to bring a bunch of demos out. I'm working on getting some other bikes out here for you guys too on that same weekend. Definitely want to come check out that. Oh, Ben Legere, that's so great to see you, buddy. Been a long time. Miss having you. You've only been out here once, but you made a drive out just to bring a custom award to all of us. Just that guy is top notch. He does a lot of CNC for different motorcycle parts. Is it BDR? Drop in a link to your page where you sell all your parts so people can get to that. Really cool stuff. I think that's really everything I wanted to share with you guys at this point. We're going on about an hour, and I want to get back to working on the steps up to the pavilion and making those a little bit more hospitable. I saw we didn't have any steps built. We had a hill built, and some kids were going down it, and they brought their grandmother down it, and she ended up tumbling and rolling down it. And I looked over, and I was watching her roll down, and I was like, "Oh no, this is bad stuff. We can't have older women falling down the dirt, right? Like we can't have anybody doing it, but like, and she got out with a smile and she's like, I just can't keep up with the grandchildren no more. Like just totally cool, sweet about it. But I'm like, okay, we got to build some steps out here. So we got them kind of roughed in and putting some rock on it. And it's going to be a work in progress. It's not the top priority, but hopefully by this weekend, we got this ready for you guys this weekend and something better to be able to walk up to the pavilion with. But yeah, things are firing on all cylinders out here. This weekend, this Saturday, Motomania, come race with us. It is probably the funnest series of all the series, at least for us. It was a lot of people coming in at night, a lot of families and a lot of new riders. And then there's some real fast guys that come out, girls. So definitely come join us for Motomania this weekend. Manny just got in here. Then the following weekend, we have open practice. And the weekend after that, we have Mud Girl Mud Run. So we're going to be closed on that Saturday, but we will be open the Thursday before and the Sunday. I guess that's the 11th and 12th of October. And then the following weekend is Bradshaw and Pike out here with the training with them on that Friday beforehand. So we got a lot of good stuff coming up. No races in October 18th is going to be our Motomania finale. So we're going to try to get Bradshaw and Weston to come out and race with us. So Caleb, you just got on the stream, but you missed an hour of it. So I'm not going to do a full recap. If you want, drop in. I've just been breaking down, what we've learned over the last few weeks, some of the improvements we made, some of the improvements on deck. And right now we're talking about the upcoming events. So that'll be our race for October is with Damon and Weston. They'll be here during the day riding with you and probably racing with you at night. It's a weekend you do not want to miss. I don't know if we have any RV spots left. So if you want an RV spot or cabin, get it now. Then we'll have some open practices. We'll have another mud run in the beginning of November. And then we have USA Championships Thanksgiving weekend. And that weekend is going to be so much fun. We're toying with the idea of making it a 3-moto format. Let us know if that's what you'd like to see for that event. If you want to see 3 motos, let us know if you're racing, right? If you're not going to race, like don't chime in because it just kind of muddies the water, right? So we'll have some polls going on to see if we should make that start on Friday and race until Sunday with 3 motos. Give you guys long practices on Friday morning. And big Thanksgiving dinner on Thanksgiving night. We'll slaughter a sheep or 2 or 3. We had 200 people last year, 200 people the year before. Hopefully it becomes 300 people this year. Potluck, bring your favorite dish. Definitely book your RV spot for that because we already have bookings coming through for that. You can pre-register. It's already online, all that stuff. Then December will be a nice chill month, just lots of open practice. And then January, we'll have that winter series race. And hopefully February, we'll have something to do with Loretta's, if not a regional. So, all right, I'm going to tune out, guys. Thank you so much for watching, sharing, all that stuff. If you have any questions, DM us, call us, come say hello. Hope to see everybody this weekend at Motomania and even tomorrow night. Battery's about to die on the computer anyway here. God bless you and your families, and have a beautiful, beautiful day.